For us, we were not going to compromise on the First Amendment. And I think Americans need to realize that. But we wanted to make it clear we were not going to be bullied, intimidated into silence. We were not going to bow down to unreasonable governmental dictates, especially when it concerned free speech and religious liberty. I've been coming here for 40 years, have been based on Capitol Hill. In fact, if we could push the Supreme Court out of the way, you could see my office right now, have been based on Capitol Hill over 30 years. So this has a very special place in my heart, not only being the nation's capital, but my home base for 3 decades. I'm sure Washington, D.C. wasn't unique in this, but it presented an especially unique problem because so many events happen here. Outdoors, gatherings, different political events. We felt if a liquor store could be open to activity, certainly the People's House could be open to peaceful First Amendment expressions and religious expressions, and so we came. Every year we have a Good Friday service. We celebrate the Stations of the Cross. We came fully aware. I told our team we may get arrested. They were courageous, and we came anyway. The national and international press was here. It was a beautiful service. We had a great time of prayer, of worship, and we were not arrested. And I think there's a great lesson learned there, that sometimes you need to stand up against bullies when it comes to our freedom. We then continued to have events, but then January 6th, everything changed here in Washington, D.C., and particularly here at the Capitol. You had 9-foot unclimbable fences with sharp barbed wire on the top. You had National Guard come in with weapons lining the streets. Police officers from other localities coming here. It no longer looked like America. I felt like I was in some kind of war-torn country in the Middle East. It was tragic. It was heartbreaking. It's now 2021. We feel more than ever we need a presence here at the Capitol and a spiritual witness to the nation to offer hope and healing. For the first time in 40 years, I was denied a permit. We could not have a Good Friday service there, and we couldn't come in. There was fences. It wasn't like with the COVID where we could walk on the grounds. The grounds were completely shut down. Congresswoman Bush had an event here in which hundreds of people were on the steps. And we met with the police. We said, well, did she get a permit? We want a permit. This is the People's House and the grounds are open. And they wouldn't give it to us. And we said, well, why does, we shouldn't have 2-tier of freedom. Freedom isn't just for the political elite. There shouldn't, we saw all during COVID, Speaker Pelosi getting, ice cream and Governor Newsom having parties while the peasantry had to remain in their bunkers at home. And we said, well, wait a minute, this is the People's House. I respect Congresswoman Bush for being out and having people on the steps, but that should be opened up to all of us. So they denied that, and we came out and we said, we're gonna have it. We went on the steps, we prayed. This time, the outcome was not the same as our Good Friday service in 2020. We were arrested. We contacted the Center for American Liberty. Congress people were going in the Capitol, vendors, media people. Our thought was the First Amendment should be respected in the same way. Demonstrators and protesters who get permits are a unique class of people in terms of security. We have to have a background check. Whatever we bring in gets screened by dogs, metal detectors. We say where we're going to be. We say how many people we're going to have. We're the safest group of people. But unfortunately, we were denied. It was shocking. It was so troubling to just see tour buses, people on picnics here, other groups coming all across the Capitol grounds, and permitted free speech was prohibited. We have never seen anything like that in the history of our nation. So the Center for American Liberty was awesome. They were in court 3 times. We were getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And the U.S. Capitol Advisory Board, I think, understood that they probably were going to lose in court. In July, I got a call from law enforcement, a person in law enforcement. The grounds were going to be opened. For the first time in 18 months, after this unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and free speech, the grounds of the United States Capitol would once again be open to permitted activities. Over to my right, it's the southeast lawn of the United States Capitol. For the first time in 18 months, we had a prayer service. We had 48 people out. We had worship. It was before 9/11. We had veterans come and share. We prayed for our nation. I'm not really a tearful kind of person, but I got a little teary when we were singing Our God Reigns, and we were raising our hands, and we had this incredible experience in our heart that these grounds were once again open, that the people's house were given back to the people. And we could not be more appreciative of the Center for American Liberty. It would not have happened without them. So we are very excited that the people's house has been returned back to the people, and it's a clear reminder to everyone, people of goodwill, people who cherish freedom, people who may share my religious views and who may not. We cannot remain passive or indifferent. Our freedoms are not guaranteed. We can lose them in one generation. We've already seen, just think, in one stroke of the pen, we could no longer gather in our churches. With one stroke of a pen, our First Amendment liberties were limited here at the United States Capitol. So we have to stand and fight.